So, what does success mean to you?
Success is happiness because we're all in different seasons of life. We're all experiencing different things. So there isn't really a one size fits all definition. It's, are you happy with what you're doing, with who you are? Are you happy in the journey of becoming? And if you're happy, then you're a very successful person.
Adult by default.
Hey guys, and welcome to Adult by Default. Eva, how are we doing today?
I am doing great. I feel like the queen of success today,
Love.
which I think is a great segue into our topic.
100%. Redefining success. So, when we're younger, we have this definition of success based on what we're watching. And I watched a lot of Richie Rich. So, I based my definition in, making a lot of money, having the nice house, buying the yacht. But obviously, as we grow, we realize that that isn't really the definition of success. We start to formulate a new definition based on our reality and our experiences. So I want to start the conversation today by asking you, what was your definition of success when you were younger and why?
I think similar to you, I grew up feeling as though success was measured mostly in terms of external factors like money, career, I guess just if you have it figured out, which is another very vague kind of term, but the way it was presented was, buying a home, starting a family, and having the means to be able to do what you love. But I think there was a big focus on the monetary aspect of it and kind of everything that ties into that. So I don't know why this came about. I think just watching shows.
100%.
I think
London Tipping's really great. Really great.
Oh my gosh.
Really great.
I think all of that, and then you see it in things you watch, you hear it in people you talk to or the older. I think in school too, they kind of want to instill that in you so that you do that. But that's kind of the way that when I was growing up, I felt like success was measured.
So now I want to ask you, what is your definition of success now?
That is very different for me. I think now, rather than thinking of success as an external thing, it's more internal for me. It is, how do I feel? How do I wake up every day? Do I feel inner peace? Do I feel happiness? Do I feel satisfaction? And if I can say yes to those things, then I feel like I'm successful, because no one, like you said, no one can define it except for me. It is so subjective. It is not an objective thing. And I think that growing up, your perspective and your mindset shifts. And I'm happy that it has for me. So yeah, that's how it feels for me. It feels very much like even the little things. Like,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, the little things. Success was this week making dinner and meal prepping. That was like success.
I agree. It is the little things. Because every little thing that you do is a step forward in your life. For example, creating this podcast. Like, for me, that has been so successful. I know people judge things on, okay, how many likes has it gotten? How many subscribers, how many followers. And honestly, when I think about us building this podcast, I don't think about it as, is it successful because of these measures of likes, follows, subscribers. I think about it more as, we were on a walk and we decided to start this podcast. And based on that, we just got to work, and now we're here sitting down recording episode 2. We did content for it. The simple thing of just creating an email, that was a win, because every little thing that we've done for this podcast is a step forward to building it, growing it, creating community. And that in itself, like, it might be small wins, but honestly, they're big because we've been creating this, and you know, in the base of it all is that we've been enjoying it. We've been so happy. We've had all this joy creating it. And I think that's the most important thing, that if you're happy with what you're doing in the journey, then you're already so successful.
And going back to your point about the journey versus the destination, that is a big mindset shift that I've had since I was younger. You think success is a certain point, getting to a certain point.
Right.
Big house, big fancy job, whatever else. But instead, no, you're succeeding on every step of the way.
Yeah.
You are thriving. If you're happy, that is enough.
100%.
There's a lot of feeling like it's not enough.
Yeah.
Feeling like you have to be doing more. Our society is very go, go, go. And it's nice to just take a step back and say, I am successful. I feel successful. It's a feeling. And transitioning a little bit, it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
I think there's inherent beauty in success.
100%. Which that's a great segue to just enjoying that beauty of adulthood that you're experiencing right now. And to your point, it's sometimes just going and doing the groceries. Sometimes it's even getting gas, which is so simple, but oh my God, it's so hard because I need to actually go out of my way to get gas. Sometimes I'm just like, it's a Saturday and I have to go get gas. So what would you say right now is like some of those beautiful moments in adulthood that bring success?
I think a few things that I've experienced recently. Number one is, as you all know, it is tax season.
Oof,
so if you're not doing your taxes, you probably will have to start. And that realization came upon me. So just working on that this past week, I closed my laptop and felt like a major success. You know, adulting, a little thing.
I got my money back from...
You got your returns.
My returns.
Amazing.
Yeah,
and then
I was
you
like,
feel like,
wow,
so
amazing, gold star.
Gold star.
Yeah.
You got it. I'll bring it back. You got to give yourself those gold stars. Oh, I was really tired last night and hungry when I got back from work, but I was like, okay, I'm not feeling the best. What will make me feel better? And every time, exercise always makes me feel better. Little success was yesterday. Just going down there, I started walking on the treadmill, and then I went on the bike.
Ooh, love that.
And
bike?
Yeah, bike.
Okay.
And just
Eva the biker.
Didn't even realize, and before I knew it had been like almost 30 minutes, and I felt great. And then I had dinner, and then I was in a good mood. Success, little success. What have you been feeling has been successful for you this week?
Literally, maybe just making dinner for myself is... Pancakes. I didn't do pancakes this week. I made oatmeal, as you know.
Okay, weird, yes.
I made instant oatmeal.
That was good. That was very yummy.
This Monday, and I added some like banana to it and cereal. Guys, if you haven't tried oatmeal with cereal, it adds a crunch. That is so good. No, but I think like even at work, right? Sometimes at work you're tasked with certain things and just completing it. Like I had to do these couple of decks, and completing those decks felt like a relief, success, such a small thing. Well, not really. It was a huge deck. It was not a small thing. It was enormous. But like completing that deck and just knowing that now I could send it over to the team, like that felt great because it's something that I can also check off my list. And that itself is like a big success.
Going kind of with the whole notion of little things, little successes, with that definition growing up of these big things, this outside kind of force that defines if you're successful or not, how do you in your mind reconcile that? What do you do to make yourself feel like I am successful, I am enough?
I think I already feel like I'm a very successful person. In the base of it all, I think success comes from happiness, and we can have our doubts. We're all human. We have our doubts. We compare each other to other people because there's a lot of peer pressure, and it's just what we do. But then I have to think back, what are my values? what is my own definition of success? What makes me happy? And to that end, then, what makes me happy? I have amazing parents. I have an amazing mom that I can call.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out, moms. We love you.
We're going to do it every time. We love you.
I have a roof over my head. I can feed myself. I have a job. I have a salary. I know the job market is horrible, so I'm very grateful for that. And I am within the field that I want to be in. I work in sports marketing. Sure, many times I want more, right? Because as humans, we're always like, we want more. But we also need to appreciate what we have in the moment. Because if we wait until like we get the next thing, then we're never going to appreciate what we have right now.
Yeah.
And so at the root core is happiness and being grateful. And that like, it takes me to when I think of like, what makes a successful person successful? And I've been trying to understand this better. And I think there's different qualities. I think that the two that come to mind are, one, successful people are very confident.
Yeah.
They are willing to try things. They are willing to take risks. And it's hard. Like many times they're taking risks very scared, but they do it anyway. And they do it anyway knowing that if they fall, they have themselves to lean on, and they trust themselves that much that they can, rise from it, dust off their knees, keep going, and knowing that if they failed, like they're going to learn from it, and it's going to help them build the next thing until they get to what they want. And I think that's super important. And then the second thing is being grateful. You have to be grateful for the little wins, the big wins. Even sometimes when you fail, you have to be grateful. And it's not like, I failed, thank you so much. Like, no, obviously no one's like grateful for like falling, but but
the experience.
But the experience, exactly, and what they're learning. And like, you can only see how the dots connect when you're looking backward. You can't really see it and put it together when you're moving forward, but you always have two paths. And when you fail, you can either be like, this sucks, like, oh my God, you can whine about it, or you can, whine about it because we're human. We're going to be like, oh, this sucks. But then be like, okay, there's a reason why this happened. Let me think on it, like why this happened, and be grateful in a way because I can learn from this scenario, see what happened, what I did wrong, and then implement it to the next thing to keep going. And so that's why I think that, successful people are confident, they're grateful. And the last thing is that everything is by choice. Like, as I said, there's always two paths. You have to decide which path you're going to take. Am I going to whine or am I going to keep going forward? Well, same thing with like confidence. It's so hard. Like, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to be confident. It takes time, but you have to be willing to take those risks to see what happens. Because if you never take those risks, then you're never going to know. And I'd rather be 80 and being like, oh my God, thank God Eva and I did that podcast, regardless of the outcome. Like, I'm so thankful that I did it because we had this moment. We have this moment. We'll forever have this moment. We have this experience. We have this story to tell. And you know what? I really believe that there's a reason that we're doing this and that this will connect the dot to something. And I rather, be 80 and grateful for doing it than being 80 and being like, why didn't I do that? Like, I'll never know now. So yeah, fear is stupid and so are regrets. I rather be fearful and do it than be fearful and regretting that I didn't.
Just touching on a little bit of what you discussed, I think it's interesting that you mentioned confidence and you mentioned gratitude. Because both of those things come from within. Yeah. I think that points again to this kind of internal versus external. And you're relying on yourself and trusting yourself because no one can define your success. No. You define it for yourself. You create it for yourself. Every day that you go out and you succeed, it's you. It's no one else. You have done it all. Yeah. 100%. Obviously, people help and everything, but you're defining your own success. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways, I feel successful by at least my definitions, which is good enough for me.
100%.
And yeah, success is your own thing. Yeah. No one can define it for you, even though, guys, it's so hard because
is.
you see it in the media, you know, TV, you see it in movies, and you hear it in music, and anything we're consuming, it all tells you, or for the most part, a lot of it is success is blah, blah, blah. It's one thing. And getting out of that cycle and into the more internal looking is hard. But that is already success, like in and of itself, that switch. And I think that redefining success means just exactly that. How do you change your perspective on what success even is? And, you know, as people in our 20s, we feel this a lot, and anyone, I'm sure any age group, feels kind of that pull of outside the world is telling me to feel a certain way, but I need to listen to myself. I need to be confident, and I need to express gratitude. And if I do those two things, like you said, I do feel successful. But in my head, I'm feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not successful because I don't own a house or something because of those messages.
Which, that's an interesting point you bring up, because sometimes we see people that are way younger than us, right? That they're buying houses and that they have a lot of money, you know, with content and social media. A lot of younger people are making wealth very early on. And we see that sometimes, and it's like, oh my God, I am older than them, and yet I can't buy a house. I can't have all those things that those people have. But then I have to remind myself that we're two different people, right? Like, they are doing content which pays very well, and I am in the industry that I'm in, and it's the industry that I've worked really hard to get there. And so I can't be comparing myself with someone that we're not in. Yes, we might be in the same age range, but we're not doing the same thing. And so I have to go back and think, okay, I'm doing my own thing and I'm happy with what I'm doing. Would I love to have all that money and buy a house at that age? 100%. But also, like, I can't compare myself with that person because we are in very two different scenarios. And so what I try to think about is, what makes me happy right now with what I'm doing? And like, if I do want to buy a house, one day I will get there. And that, I think, is the most important thing is, okay, what is it of this person that I wish that I could have? Okay, is it that they have that income that they can buy a house? Okay, great. I also want that. What am I going to do to get there? Because, again, always two paths. And it's like, I can whine about it, complain about it, or I could think, okay, that's what I want. How do I get there?
Take actionable steps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you need to be happy with what you have. And that goes back to, like, internally, like, what you have, where you are. And then, okay, there's always space for improvement. 100%. How can I get there? What can I do?
Yes.
And then that's how you, like, reframe the narrative and think about it in a way that you're not in that, oh my God, I need to do this. Like, I need to get there. Like, no. Life is no race. We're not in a race here. As Miss Cyrus said, life is a climb, okay?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's all about the climb.
It is.
So we're going to get there. And that's the thing. Like, with life, whatever you do, just think about, okay, I want to get there. I'll get there. You got there already? Great.
Yeah, it's a marathon.
I'll meet you in that hill.
Yeah, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And one point that you bring up with all of this that I'm thinking is this idea of being behind, feeling behind. Yep. You mentioned younger people than us owning a home.
Yeah.
Like, how could one not feel behind? Like, let's be real.
Yeah, literally.
But it's not a race.
It's not a race.
It's not. Success, it makes you feel like you're behind. It makes you feel like you don't have it figured out and that's a bad thing. Or you don't have the certain level of wealth that you wanted. But there is no behind. There is no anything. It is really just about your own internal clock. How do you
100%.
register what you're doing? How do you feel about what you're doing?
Yes.
Are you making an impact on the world? Are
Right.
you going after your goals?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned it before, but even just starting a podcast, it was an idea we had. I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. It really helps me. And we had a lot of conversations about things, and we thought, okay, we should talk about this.
Yeah.
And then even with that, like learning so many new skills, building a community,
Mm-hmm.
having all of that, I feel success. I feel successful. And you're right. It's not about the number of views, the number of likes, the number of anything.
Yeah.
And the way the world works, it wants you to focus on those things. It wants you to seek out this never-ending, like, approval of someone else.
Yeah.
But the only approval stamp you need is your
Yourself.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And you're not behind.
No.
No one is behind.
No, girl. You're exactly where you have to be.
Yes.
I really believe that you are where you are at this moment because you're learning, and whatever you're doing now will connect the dots to the next thing. And you can't see it right now because we can't even see it right now. Like, we don't know what is gonna connect this to the next dot, but it's all those skills, all the little things that you're learning, all the big things that you're learning, people that you're meeting, like all these things, trust me that they're gonna get you to the next thing, and life is just preparing you. And some people get there before, great for them, and also be happy for other people. Be happy that they got there. Like,
Yeah, and they go to different places too.
yeah.
We're not all going to the same start and finish line.
Right, exactly. And so that's the thing, like, you will get there when you get there. And if you need more reassurance of this, like, let me tell you something. Vera Wong started at 40. Henry Ford, the automobile company, the guy that founded it, also 40. Colonel Sanders, the guy that founded KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Which is amazing.
was 65, guys. So
Oh my
you are
goodness.
never late to start.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you want to start, go for it. And I think many times we have, like, what we're talking about, we have that little inner voice that it's like, oh my God, it's too late for you. Like, oh, you want to go to med school and you're 30? Imagine if you go to med school at 30, you're going to be graduating by 34, and then you have to do residency, and then you have to do all these things. No, 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 no. I think the worst thing that you could do is listen to that inner voice and listen to it so much that you start delaying it because you're like, oh my God, yeah, you're right, I'll be 34. No, no, no. And then you're 31, and then you're still thinking about it. So by the time that you're 31 and then you're thinking about it, then if you graduate in 4 years, you'll be 35. And the best thing that you could do is, if you want something, forget about, oh my God, you'll graduate and you'll be too old. No, no, no. Go for it.
Do it.
Go for it.
Yeah, because you're going to wake up one day and you will be the age that you were going to be when you would have graduated if you had started before. You spend all of this time in this not real future that you've made up for yourself. And
100%.
then by the time that you wake up, it's later. And it's never too late. That's the thing, is it is never too late.
Yeah.
But it does get later if you delay.
Yeah.
Instead of redefining and reclaiming your definition of success, what you want. And going back to that, when you get that feeling that's like, I'm behind or I haven't done what I need to do, what are some things that you do that help?
Honestly, as I said, I think it's about thinking, what are my values? What is my definition of success? And am I happy with what I'm doing? Am I happy where I'm at? And you can be happy and also want more. Like, I can be happy where I'm at right now and know, but I want more because I know I can give more. I also know I'm young and I have so much more time and so much more things that I can do. But it's honestly about introspection, and it's not about, oh my God, what do other people think is success? What are other people thinking about me? I don't care. Like, and that also goes back to attributes of a successful person. They don't care about what other people think.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're laughing at me. You think this is not going to work? Okay, just watch me and see who's laughing later.
Yeah.
And so it's honestly about, whenever you're feeling low just look back at also all your small wins, because that is something that we forget sometimes, to think about everything that we've done to get to this very moment. When I think about it, like how I got here, like I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I moved to DC for undergrad. I really wanted to work in motorsports. I got the job here in LA. LA is so far from home. I didn't know anyone. I moved here. Well, I knew my cousin, but older with kids. I moved here, didn't have any friends, and didn't know the city. And so for all of you listening to us that you've had to leave your country, didn't know the language, didn't have anyone, had to figure out along the way, like that is such a huge success. And you might not be exactly where you want, but that is already huge. And so just thinking about those things that you've done to get here, and there are a lot of lonely nights and a lot of crying, and you know what, you've overcome
ordering
that. Ordering takeout
by yourself, watching a sad movie.
Yeah, or just doing your instant oatmeal, because that's all you have. And those are just, they're so small, but no, you've kept going. And I think that's so important to remember. Like, even through everything, you've kept going, and you're going to keep going, because those are the qualities that successful people have. So remember your small wins. Remember your definition of success. Don't let anyone change that, and you're on track.
Yeah. Don't give up.
Don't
Success
give up.
is not giving up.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, keep doing a little thing. One small win is everything.
Yeah.
Just a little bit at a time. I think reframing success involves just this total mindset shift, which is really liberating.
Yes.
Once you get there, and trusting yourself more, because no one lives your life but you, and no one defines your success but you, and you are successful always, no matter what. And even just telling yourself that, even if you don't feel it inside, you will start to feel it.
Yeah.
I have started to
mindset.
You just a mindset shift.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. And I think for me also, just like doing the things that I love helps. Making this podcast helps. I feel successful.
Yeah.
Cooking my like pasta dinner this week helped. I felt successful.
Yeah.
A little bit goes a long way.
100%.
And the more that you do that, the more success that you feel. And then the more I get to just not think of myself in terms of what others have defined. And yeah, and like, you know, funny like stories about success.
We love stories.
Like little teeny tiny stories.
Go for it.
Even like I mentioned with my taxes, that was so silly, but like it felt very successful. Another thing, going back to the gas, is I didn't have a car. Like I mentioned last episode, I didn't have a car until I started my first job out of college.
Yeah.
So whenever I would borrow my mom's car or a friend or whatever, and I'd have to put in gas, I made it up to be this huge thing in my head. And
you're like,
and
I have to get in the car.
No, but not even driving there. No, I'm talking about like getting the nozzle. I had this mental block. That my whole point is the mental block.
Tell us about this. Why did you have were you just scared about that? I
just got like anxious that I wouldn't be able to do it, because when I was younger, I you know how you put the gas, you put the little like thing in, it stays. So I could not figure that out when I was younger. Then when I got to become a driver, I was scared it wouldn't go, and that I'd have to like hold the nozzle the whole time, which really scared me.
Wait, what do you mean? You don't like hold it the whole time?
No, like you put the little thing and then you go back into your car until it beeps.
What?
Wait, you're holding it?
I'm holding it.
No, come on. Are you serious?
I've been holding it this whole time.
Wait, are you actually serious?
No, I am 100%. I'm holding it.
You guys, we need to
Who doesn't hold it?
No, you go there, you hold it, and then you put the little flap under it, and then it stays. You go back to your car, you scroll on your phone, you do whatever, and then it goes boop, and it's done.
We're gonna have to go to a gas station and do this.
We are.
We'll get back to you with the
Oh my
experience.
gosh. Well, that's my fun gas story, is that now
just
that
so much.
I know, now that I have my own car and I am the only person who gets gas for it, I am able to do that, and it feels like a success. And that's a very funny, silly, whatever, but having that mindset shift has really, really helped me.
Yeah.
Success is not just measured by the awards, the achievements, the
It's literally
money
the
in
small
your
things.
bank account, everything. It's the small things, and even big things that other people wouldn't
Yes.
say is a success.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That is so interesting, because I want to double click on that. When we talk about the definition of success, right, and saying that it's not universal, it's not one size fits all, it's funny because my roommate during my master's, we graduated together from undergrad. She got a really great job in one of the top 4 consulting firms, and I was still studying because I was doing my master's. And we both set out dreams. Like, my dream at the time was I was doing this master's in sports management, and I really wanted to work in motorsports. Her dream was, she has a great job, so now she wants to find the love of her life and settle down. Very different dreams.
Yeah.
Same age. And that goes to the point of, you could be the same age and have completely different dreams and definitions of success at that very moment. And so at the time, I really wanted to work out in motorsports. She wanted to settle down. And I'm just like over here being like, I'm young. I want to work in motorsports. I can't be settling down because I want to travel. Yeah. Like, I might even have to move. I did, across the country. And so I went out and I formulated a plan of how I was going to get this job. And she went out and she was like, this is what I want in my man, and I'm going to look for that. Like, and
good for her.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
And which also is another topic that we should talk about, like, not lowering your expectations. Like, write down what you want and go for it. Don't lower those.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Love it.
And we lived in this really cute apartment. It's kind of like Friend vibes.
Amazing.
But our view, amazing. But our view was to trees and like branches. So it was like a tree house. So we call that apartment the tree house of dreams, because I later got my dream to come out here and work in motorsports, and she found the love of her life. She settled down. She just had a kid. And so it's just so interesting to see how different a definition of success can be, even though we are the same age. But we were also so happy for each other, even though we had different definitions. She was so ecstatic when I got the job. I was so happy when she came home. I will forever remember that she came home and she's like, I found the person that I'm gonna marry. And we like sat in the kitchen and she told me all about him. And so it's just, that's how life is. That's how definitions of success should be measured. Not by like, you have this one definition of success, so that's how I'm going to categorize everyone's success. No, it's like, I have this, but you also have to be willing to understand other people and where they're at and how they put that definition of success.
I love that. I love how you mentioned success changing as you change. I think people feel like they're static, like you're the same person. How can I be a different person when I'm myself? That's a question that I think a lot of people have. But I'm telling you all, you are a different person than you were yesterday, than you were an hour ago. Yeah. Certainly a different person than you were 5 years ago. So that's always changing, and your definition of success can change too.
Yeah.
And I think also another thing you mentioned that I loved was the different paths you and your friend were on, but they kind of beautifully interconnected in a way that strengthened both of your successes.
Yeah.
I think friendship in and of itself, relationships, those can all be a measure of success.
Yeah.
Meaning, impact, creativity, doing something you love, being passionate about something is success. There's such a interesting word that has so many connotations.
100%.
But it is what you make of it. And I think that
what you make of it.
That's adulthood. Adulthood is what you make of it. Anyone can see that, I feel like.
Yeah.
It is so subjective. It is not subjective. Not a universal thing.
And I think that's what more people need to get in their heads. Like, just remember that wherever you are in life right now, we could be the same age or we don't have to be the same age. But you have to understand that people are going through different experiences in their lives. And based on what experiences they're going through or that they've gone through, they base their definition on that. And it's so funny. It's like when I was in my past job, I had a coworker that we would always be like, the more emails I answer and the more meetings I'm in, the more that I start to realize success is owning a farm, having your little animals, selling your milk, your eggs.
Honestly, that sounds like a dream.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because if you would have told me that when I was in high school, like little me, what does she know? If you would have told her like success is buy a farm and selling your eggs, she would have been like, are you crazy, Maria? Like, what happened?
You're so different.
You're so different.
Change.
Yeah.
You grow up.
Because of all the experiences you've been through.
Yeah. Makes you who you are.
Right. So it's just like, stop using money or just wealth or whatever they have as like your measure of success, how many followers, all this stuff. But honestly, analyze it. Like, also put yourself in someone else's shoes. I read this book that was so great. It was actually a business book. And it's like this one chapter, he's talking about how he calls his old buddy. And he's like, hey, wee bud, how are you doing? And the guy goes, oh my God, I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I just bought a house in the suburbs. I am married to the love of my life. I make $100,000 a year. That's my salary. I teach my little boys like t-ball team. Every Wednesday I'm coaching. Then I take them out for ice cream. Like, I'm living my best life. And this guy is like, what? So they have a conversation. He's like, well, great. I'm really happy for you. He hangs up. And then in the book, he writes about how he was analyzing this for days. Because for him, his definition of success is making $500,000, having the great penthouse, being free, not having like a wife or kids to depend on. And he was like, how is he so happy? Like, how is that his, measure of success? And the more he thought about it, the more he put himself in that person's shoes, and he realized, oh, we all have a different definition of, like, for him, that is what makes him happy. So obviously that is success for him. That wouldn't make me happy, so that can't be my measure of success. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna judge him and be like, no, he's not successful. No, because
it's so ingrained into our brains.
Exactly. And so you don't judge anyone. You just, hey, are you happy with what you're doing? You're good? Then you're fabulous.
You succeeded.
Yeah.
Then that's an amazing point.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I do think people get really stuck in their heads about numbers, money, or amount of whatever likes or video subscription, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's not. That guy was completely happy on his own. And I think that that's something we want to impart on to our listeners is this mindset shift is crucial. This 100%. Time in your life, wherever you are doing an amazing job.
You're doing great, sweetie. Keep going.
Yes, literally. And that's just what we want to say, that success is what you make of it.
Success is
no one else can define your success. No. How do you think people got to where they are? Yeah. Not by letting someone else measure their success, but by taking it for themselves and by saying, I feel happy, I feel good, I feel ready to put myself out there. And that's a scary thing for sure. But you will get your dream life, your success, your happiness if you have that shift.
Yeah. And we're all doing it scared, guys. Like 99% of legends, I did hear Miley Cyrus accepted an award once, and she's like, look, we're all scared. Like, legends do it scared, but what makes them legends is that they do it anyways. And so
keep going.
Don't measure your success based on what your friends are doing, what you see online, what you see on TV. Measure it sit down and write down what matters to you and base your success on that. And so, one last question I have for you, Eva.
Already?
I know. What advice would you give our listeners for this week?
This week, my advice is think about how you're thinking about success. Think about what other people are telling you about success. Mm-hmm. And do those align? Are your values there? Are you feeling like, okay, that is what I want to measure success on too? Another piece of advice is stay true to your own values. Yep. Stay true to what brings you happiness. Whatever that is will bring you success. And I think that that's a crucial mindset shift for everyone to have. And so with that, thank you to our listeners. We really appreciate you all. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you to our moms, as always. If nobody watches, we know you're watching.
You're watching.
Thank you guys so much. We enjoyed this as always. We're excited for next week. Join us every Thirsty Thursday because we know you're thirsty for more.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adult by Default fans.